Dealerships started using a different type of oil after your first 1,000 miles. They're not advertising it, and here's why it matters. But that's just one of 7 fluids that can either make your car last 300,000 miles or cost you $4,000 in repairs. So in this video, I'm breaking down all 7 fluids, what each one protects, when to check them, and the maintenance schedule that prevents expensive failures. Starting with the fluid that just cost a Honda owner $4,200. And stick around till the end, because I'll share one bonus insight about why modern car manufacturers are quietly changing the kind of oil they use, and what that means for you once your car hits its first 1,000 miles, that most drivers, and even some mechanics, don't know. Starting up at number 1, engine oil, the lifeblood of your car. If your car had a heartbeat, it would be your engine oil. Everything from the pistons and valves to the tiny timing chains deep inside depends on it to survive. When that flow weakens, performance drops, fuel efficiency suffers, and before long, your engine starts aging faster than it should. Engine oil, or motor oil, isn't just grease. It's the lifeblood that lubricates every moving part, reduces friction, carries away heat, and prevents metal-on-metal wear. Clean oil keeps sludge from forming, ensuring the narrow passages inside your engine stay clear. Without it, fuel consumption rises, power fades, and expensive parts begin to grind themselves to pieces. Think about this. The combustion inside your engine can heat metal to over 315 C. Coolant doesn't touch those parts. Only oil does. Without that protective film, the smallest drive becomes a slow burn toward a ruined engine. The good news? Checking it takes less than 2 minutes, after your engine's been off for at least 10 minutes, but if not, make sure you warm your car before giving it a 10-minute break to begin this process. Pop the hood and find the dipstick. Pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, then pull again. You'll see minimum and maximum marks. Your oil level should sit close to the max. If it's low, top it up right away. Warning. A low reading might mean your car is burning or leaking oil, and that can lead to serious damage if ignored. Now, check the oil's condition, not just the level. Rub a little between your fingers. It should feel slick and smooth. If it feels gritty, your engine's wearing down inside. Also, look at the color, amber or golden. Perfect. Dark brown or black. Time for a change. Milky? That's coolant mixing with oil, a major red flag. Like us, oil doesn't last forever. It breaks down with time and heat. Here's a simple rule of thumb. Conventional oil, every 3,000 miles. Semi-synthetic, every 4,000, 5,000 miles. Full synthetic, every 5,000, 10,000 miles. Always check your owner's manual, but never stretch those limits. Not all oils are created equal. Mineral oil, great for older engines, but breaks down faster, usually every 3,000 miles. Semi-synthetic, a blend of both worlds, offering decent protection and longer life. Full synthetic, the modern gold standard, resists heat, protects better, improves fuel economy, and helps engines last longer. If your oil cap says 5W20 or 10W30, stick to it. That number isn't random. It's your engine's comfort zone. Use the wrong oil, and you could shorten its life dramatically. Here's the truth. Clean oil is the cheapest insurance your car will ever have. Neglect it, and you'll pay thousands later. Maintain it, and your car can reward you with years, even decades, of dependable service. But here's the thing most drivers don't realize. Oil isn't the only fluid protecting your engine. There's another one hidden deep inside that's even easier to forget. And when it's ignored, it can destroy your engine faster than running low on oil. Now that we've covered the most vital fluid in your car, let's move to the next one that quietly controls how smoothly your vehicle moves without you even realizing it. At number 2, transmission fluid. The silent protector. If your engine oil is the heartbeat of your car, your transmission fluid is the lifeline that keeps everything moving in rhythm. It doesn't get the attention it deserves until it's too late, because after the engine, the transmission is the most expensive component to replace, and a single mistake, neglect, low fluid, or the wrong type can destroy it faster than most drivers realize. When it's clean and healthy, your transmission glides. When it's dirty, overheated, or low, things start slipping, grinding, and overheating. That's when you feel those late gear changes or that odd hesitation when accelerating. I'll give you a real example. Last summer, a viewer named Mike from Texas emailed me about his 2012 Ford Explorer. He said it started hesitating between gears, nothing major, just a small delay when shifting from second to third. He ignored it. A few weeks later, that hesitation turned into a hard clunk. Then one morning, it just refused to shift at all. When his mechanic checked, the transmission fluid was dark and burnt, no longer protecting the gears. The repair? $4,300. All because the fluid hadn't been changed in 80,000 miles. The sad part, if he'd spent just $90 on a fluid service, his transmission would still be running fine today. Mike's case isn't rare. Heat is the transmission's enemy. Heavy towing, stop-and-go city driving, and even long or hot summers push this system to its limits. So if your car works hard, your transmission fluid works harder. Checking it is simple, but critical. Start by reading your owner's manual. It'll tell you what type of fluid your transmission uses and how often to check it. For most cars, here's how to do it right. Warm up your engine for a few minutes, then park on level ground. With the engine idling, pull the transmission dipstick, usually near the back of the engine bay. Wipe it clean, reinsert it, and check the color and level. Healthy transmission fluid should be bright red or pink and feel smooth. If it's dark, gritty, or smells burnt, it's overdue for a change. When it's time to replace it, make sure to use the exact type your car needs, whether that's Dexron, Mercon, CVT fluid, or a multi-vehicle synthetic blend. Using the wrong one is like giving your car the wrong blood type. For manual transmissions, the process is a bit different. The fluid is thicker and brown or amber in color, and it's checked from underneath the car through a fill plug. As for intervals, manual transmissions, every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. Automatic transmissions, every 60,000 to 100,000 miles. Some newer vehicles claim lifetime fluid, but in reality, even those benefit from a change every 100,000 to 150,000 miles, especially if you plan to keep the car long-term. Transmission fluid is often out of sight, out of mind. But when it fails silently until one day your car refuses to move. A simple fluid change every few years can prevent one of the most painful and expensive mechanical failures a driver can face. And just like engine oil, not all transmission fluids are created equal. Choosing the right one could mean the difference between a smooth ride and an early transmission rebuild. We've covered oil and transmission, the two fluids that keep your car alive and moving. But there's another one that often gets ignored, even though it quietly protects some of the hardest working gears in your car. And stick around till the end, because I'll share one bonus insight about why modern car manufacturers are quietly changing the kind of oil they use, and what that means for you once your car hits its first 1,000 miles, something most drivers and even some mechanics don't know. Number 3. Differential fluid. The hidden defender. Every car, no matter the size or style, has one thing in common: a differential. It's part of your drivetrain, the unseen system that makes turning feel effortless and keeps your tires gripping the road evenly. In a turn, your inner wheels travel a shorter distance than your outer ones, and the differential makes sure power is distributed smoothly between them. Most drivers never think about it until it fails. Inside that casing are gears, bearings, and metal teeth constantly meshing together. To keep them from grinding themselves to dust, the differential relies on gear oil, also called differential fluid. This oil is far thicker than engine oil, built to handle higher pressures and extreme heat. When it's healthy, it cushions every tooth of every gear, prevents metal-on-metal wear, and quietly extends the life of your drivetrain. When it's neglected, it breaks down, overheats, and lets those gears chew themselves apart. And unlike your engine, your differential has no filter, meaning every bit of debris and metal shaving stays inside until the next fluid change. A friend once ignored a faint whining sound coming from the rear of his truck. He thought it was just tire noise. 2 months later, his rear differential seized halfway through a road trip. The repair cost more than the truck was worth. At number 4. Brake fluid, the safety lifeline. Most drivers forget. When you press your brake pedal, you expect your car to stop instantly and safely. But what most drivers don't realize is that every time they do, it's not the pedal or even the pads doing the heavy lifting. It's the brake fluid, one of the most overlooked yet critical fluids in your entire car. Without it, you can have brand new brakes and still not stop in time. Here's what happens in those few seconds between pressing the pedal and coming to a stop. When your foot applies pressure, it activates the brake booster, which multiplies that force. That force then pushes brake fluid through the master cylinder and into thin brake lines that run to each wheel. The fluid travels fast because, unlike air, liquid doesn't compress. That means every bit of pressure from your foot gets transferred directly to the calipers or wheel cylinders, squeezing the pads or shoes against the rotors or drums. That friction turns your car's motion into heat, and in the blink of an eye, you stop. But if your brake fluid is old, contaminated, or low, that chain reaction weakens. The pedal feels soft, stopping distance grows, and in extreme cases, the brakes fail completely. You might think brake fluid lasts forever after all. It's in a sealed system, right? Not quite. Moisture slowly seeps in through rubber hoses, seals, and even during maintenance when the cap is opened. Over time, that moisture changes everything. As water content increases, the fluid's boiling point drops, and since braking generates a lot of heat, that trapped moisture can actually boil inside your brake lines, creating air bubbles that compress under pressure. When that happens, your pedal sinks to the floor and the brakes lose effectiveness. It's one of the most dangerous and preventable failures on the road. Here's what to look for: a soft or spongy brake pedal, an ABS warning light that won't turn off, oily puddles near the wheels or under the car, or brakes that feel weaker even after new pads. If you see any of those, check your brake fluid reservoir. It's usually in the engine bay near the driver's side. The fluid should be clear or light amber. If it's dark or dirty, it's time for a flush. Different vehicles use different brake fluids, and mixing them up can be costly. Here's a quick breakdown. .3, 4, and 5.1. Glycol-based, absorb moisture over time. .3, standard, lower boiling point. .4, worse, higher performance, common in modern cars. .5.1, high boiling point, used in performance or heavy-duty systems. .5, silicone-based, hydrophobic, doesn't absorb water. Lasts longer but not always compatible with ABS systems. Better corrosion resistance, but weaker lubrication for ABS pumps. Always check your owner's manual or reservoir cap to confirm what your car uses, and never mix glycol-based fluids with silicone-based ones. Brake fluid might not get the spotlight, but it's the silent guardian of every safe stop you make. It's inexpensive, easy to maintain, and yet it holds the power to save your life every time you press the pedal. We've handled the fluids that move your car forward and stop it safely. Next, let's look at the one that makes every turn effortless and every drive smooth. At number 5, power steering fluid, the unsung hero of effortless driving. If you've ever driven an older car without power steering, you know the struggle. Every turn felt like lifting weights. But today, steering is effortless. One finger on the wheel, and the car glides wherever you want it. That comfort, that ease, it all comes from a small but vital component: power steering fluid. When the Chrysler Imperial debuted in 1951 as the first American car with power steering, it changed driving forever. Before that, turning the wheel on a large vehicle felt like wrestling a bear. But after the Imperial's success, other automakers quickly followed, and by the early 1960s, power steering went from luxury to standard. It's one of those innovations that most of us take for granted until it stops working. In a hydraulic steering system, power steering fluid acts like a messenger. It carries the force from your steering wheel to the front wheels through a network of pressurized lines, pumps, and valves, making every turn feel smooth and controlled. This same fluid also lubricates the moving parts inside the system, preventing wear and reducing heat. When the fluid level drops or becomes dirty, that easy steering you're used to suddenly feels heavy, like driving a car from the 1940s again. Unlike oil or brake fluid, power steering fluid doesn't have a strict replacement schedule. It doesn't expire, but it does degrade over time. Heat, moisture, and debris can cause it to lose its hydraulic strength, creating foam or a burnt smell. So here's what to look for. Color. Fresh fluid is red, amber, or light pink. If it's dark brown, black, or foamy, it's time to flush it. Feel. Gritty fluid means internal wear. Something's shedding metal inside. Steering effort. If the wheel feels stiff or jerky, your system is either low on fluid or contaminated. To check it, locate the power steering reservoir under the hood, usually white or yellow with a black cap labeled power steering or steering fluid. If the level is low, top it off only with the exact fluid your manual specifies. You can also find this information printed right on the cap or in your owner's manual. There are several varieties of power steering fluid. Some are mineral oil-based, others synthetic, and many automakers even use automatic transmission fluid, ATF, as steering fluid. The wrong type can cause leaks, seal damage, or pump wear, so always double-check before adding anything. Newer cars with electric power steering don't use fluid at all, but for most vehicles on the road today, hydraulic systems still rely on it completely. Power steering fluid doesn't get much attention, but it defines how your car feels. That smooth, controlled connection between you and the road. It's easy to forget until you lose it, and suddenly every turn feels like a fight. We've talked about the fluids that move, stop, and steer your car. But next, let's explore the one that keeps your entire engine alive under pressure and heat. At number 6. Engine coolant. The fluid that keeps your engine alive. When you start your car on a cold morning or drive under the blazing summer sun, there's one silent system working harder than anything else. Your cooling system. And at the heart of it is engine coolant, also known as antifreeze. It doesn't get much attention, but without it, your engine would overheat in minutes. The truth is, coolant isn't just about keeping your engine cool, it's what keeps it alive. Your engine produces enormous heat every second it runs. Friction, combustion, pressure. All of it creates temperatures that can exceed 300 degrees C inside the cylinders. Coolant absorbs that heat and carries it away through a series of passages that lead to the radiator, where the air rushing in from the front of your car helps release the heat safely. Then, cooled down, it circles back through the water pump and begins the cycle again. It's a constant loop. Heat in, heat out, keeping your engine stable, no matter the season. Without it, the metal inside your engine would warp, your oil would burn, and within minutes, your engine would be gone. Now, some drivers think, why not just use water instead of coolant? And technically, you can, for a while. But water boils at 212 degrees and freezes at 32 degrees. Coolant, a mix of water and chemical additives, changes those limits, preventing both overheating and freezing. It also protects against rust and corrosion, something plain water can't do. Inside your engine, rust isn't just ugly. It clogs the radiator, blocks passages, and ruins the water pump. That's why coolant is carefully engineered to resist corrosion, lubricate seals, and protect aluminum and steel components that run hotter and longer than ever before. Not all coolant is the same, and using the wrong one can quietly destroy your engine. Here's what you should know. IAT, Inorganic Additive Technology. The old-school green coolant found in older cars. Works well, but breaks down fast, usually replaced every 30,000 miles. OAT, Organic Acid Technology. Found in most modern vehicles, long-lasting and ideal for aluminum engines, protects up to 100,000 miles. HOT, Hybrid Organic Acid Technology, a mix of the two, common in many American and European cars, great all-round protection against corrosion and scale buildup. Always check your owner's manual or look at the coolant cap label to confirm what type your car uses. Mixing types can reduce effectiveness and cause deposits to form, blocking your cooling passages. Coolant doesn't just disappear, but it can leak. From hoses, the radiator, or even the head gasket. If your temperature gauge climbs higher than usual, or you smell something sweet under the hood, that's coolant escaping. Coolant should be changed every few years, depending on the type. Old coolant loses its corrosion protection and becomes acidic, eating away at your engine from the inside out. If the fluid looks brown or rusty instead of bright green, orange, or pink, it's time for a flush. I once saw a car towed in with a warped head gasket, all because the owner skipped a $15 coolant change. That single mistake turned into a $2,000 repair. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind. Every car on the road, from your daily commuter to a $100,000 luxury sedan, relies on coolant to survive the battle against heat. Neglect it, and your car's life shortens with every drive. Care for it, and your engine can last decades. And stick around till the end, because I'll share one bonus insight about why modern car manufacturers are quietly changing the kind of oil they use, and what that means for your engine once you hit your first 1,000 miles. It's something most drivers, and even some mechanics, don't know. Windshield washer fluid, the forgotten safety fluid. Of all the fluids we've talked about, this last one doesn't keep your engine alive or your transmission smooth, but it keeps you safe. Windshield washer fluid is simple. It's a cleaning solution designed to keep your windshield clear when the road isn't. It doesn't lubricate, cool, or protect moving parts. Instead, it protects something far more important: your visibility. Every driver has been there. You're behind a truck on a muddy road or a long highway drive in the rain, and suddenly the grime builds up. One pull of the wiper stock sprays washer fluid onto the glass. And just like that, you can see again. That clarity is what keeps you focused, confident, and safe. Washer fluid doesn't need changing, but it should be topped off regularly. Ideally, every time you change your oil or rotate your tires. The reservoir is usually clear plastic with a blue or yellow cap, marked by a windshield icon. Open it, check the level, and fill it up if needed. But here's what most drivers forget. Not all washer fluids are the same. Some are blends like Bug Wash, work great in warm months, but can freeze solid in winter. If you live in colder climates, switch to a de-icer formula rated for sub-zero temperatures before the first freeze. It's a 2-minute step that prevents your washer system from freezing when you need it most. Washer fluid may be the smallest detail under your hood, but when visibility drops, it becomes your lifeline. It's a reminder that car maintenance isn't just about engines and gears. It's about awareness, safety, and respect for the machine that carries you through every season. You've now learned the essential fluids that keep your car healthy, reliable, and ready for the long road ahead. But before we wrap up, remember what I mentioned earlier. The bonus insight about why modern manufacturers are quietly changing the type of oil they use, and how that single shift affects every new car after the first 1,000 miles. You'll want to hear this one, because it reveals how the next generation of engines is being built for longevity, or planned obsolescence. But if you've been enjoying these videos and learning more about your car with us, consider joining the Pistonverse community. As a member, you'll get early access to new uploads, bonus insights, and exclusive maintenance tips we don't share publicly. It's more than just a channel. It's a space for real drivers who care about value, reliability, and keeping their cars running for years to come. Join us and let's keep your engine and your knowledge running strong. Earlier, I mentioned that car manufacturers have been quietly changing the kind of oil they use, and most drivers, even experienced ones, haven't noticed. It's not just a small tweak, it's a shift that affects how long your car truly lasts. Years ago, most cars ran on thicker oils, like 10W30, 10W40, designed to protect metal parts with a dense, cushion-like film. But modern cars? They're switching to thinner oils like 0W16 or even 0W8. Automakers aren't doing this because the old oil stopped working. They're doing it to meet fuel economy regulations and emission targets, goals that matter for efficiency and marketing, but not always for long-term durability. Your car may run quieter and smoother today, but without the right oil viscosity for your climate or driving habits, it could face more wear over time. At first glance, it sounds like progress. Thinner oil reduces drag and boosts fuel efficiency, great for emissions and mileage numbers. But here's the catch. Thinner oil doesn't always mean stronger protection. In some engines, especially under heat or heavy load, that thin film can break down faster. That's why some newer engines show premature wear even when the oil was changed on time. So here's the secret. When your car hits its first 1,000 miles, don't just stick blindly to the sticker recommendation. Check your owner's manual, yes, but also talk to a trusted mechanic or look up what long-term owners of your exact model use. Some drivers in hotter climates switch one step thicker, say from 0W16 to 5W20, for better protection without hurting performance. It's not about ignoring manufacturer advice. It's about understanding that cars are engineered for global averages, not your exact reality. If this video helped you save money, regain confidence, or simply understand your car a little better, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share it with a friend who could use it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because smart drivers don't just drive. They learn, they reset, and they win. Stay sharp, drive smarter, and never fear a dashboard light again.